morning. My name is Kristen Cross. I'm the librarian at Crestview Elementary. I am here with Miss Rowe, Miss Vanderland, and Miss Figueredo's collaborative ELP Early Learning Preschool class. And today we are going to be reading Hooway For Wodney Wat. Now, you guys remember we have been reading lots of Helen Lester books, right? Because they teach us all kinds of things. Do you remember Pinkerton? What was wrong with Pinkerton? Oh, Pinkerton always wanted to be first, didn't he? Always had to be first. Is being first always the best?
No.
No. And then do you remember the bunny with the really big ears?
No.
What did he not do?
Nothing.
He did not listen. Remember, Buddy never listened. That's right. And then we read Hurty Feelings. Do you remember Fragility? And her feelings were always hurt and she cried all the time. Would you want to be friends with Fragility if your friend cried all the time over every little thing?
A fly.
Oh yeah, there are flies in here. Okay, so today we're going to read Hooway For Wodney Wat. Now, Rodney Rat has a hard time saying his R's, just like some of you friends, because you're still little. And he has a very hard time saying his R's, so he says W instead of R. So can you say Rodney Rat?
Rodney Rat.
Yeah, I think I heard some Wodneys in there. But do you know what? His classmates are not very nice, and they tease him for the way he talks. Is that a kind thing to do?
No.
No, but one day this big bully comes into town. Her name is Camilla Capybara, and Wodney teaches her a lesson.
It looks like she's a doll.
I know. Are you ready? All right, so Hooway For Wodney Wat. Again, this is by Helen Lester. Illustrated, remember, she's the person who does the pictures, by Lynn Munsinger. Poor Wodney Wat. His real name was Rodney Rat, but he couldn't pronounce his R's. To make matters worse, he was a rodent. He said, a wodent. What's your name, Wodney? Asked the other rodents. Wodney Wat, whispered Rodney. What's another name for bunny? They asked knowingly. Wabbit, he mumbled. And how does a train travel? They winked at each other. A twain travels on a twain twack. Wodney replied miserably. Is it nice to tease your friends for the way they talk?
No.
All of this teasing day in and day out made Wodney Wat the shyest rodent in his elementary school. His squeak could barely be heard in class. He gnawed his lunch alone. And while the other rodents scurried and scooted about at recess, Wodney just hid inside his jacket. Poor Wodney. He has no friends at recess. What should someone do?
Be nice.
Yeah. Then one day, as the rodents were taking turns doing wheelies, a new rodent, a very large rodent, barged into the classroom and announced, "My name is Camilla Capybara. I'm bigger than any of you, I'm meaner than any of you, and I'm smarter than any of you." Then she added, "So there." Ooh.
That's not good.
No, she's scary, isn't she?
Yeah.
With that, she accidentally, on purpose,
Stepped on the rat.
elbowed an ear, bumped 2 noses, stepped on 3 tails, and lay down on a desk. Fur pricked in fear through the classroom. She was bigger than any of them. She sure looked meaner than any of them. Was she smarter than any of them?
We don't know.
We'll see. What's 2 plus 2? Asked Miss Fuzzleworth. 4, shouted Camilla Capybara without even bothering to raise a paw. And furthermore, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, and 243 plus 125 is 368. Later, when Miss Frizzleworth said, "What's the capital of?" Camilla interrupted. "New York, Albany, population 295,594. And during science, in the answer to the question, "What part of the plant is below the ground?" Camilla Capybara danced on her desk and said, "Root, root, rooty toot toot." Yep, the other rodents. She is smarter than we are too. They felt very, very uncomfortable and probably sad as well. Every afternoon, just before the final recess, Miss Fuzzleworth drew a name from her hat to see who would be the leader for their favorite game, Simon Says. She scrunched her eyes and jiggled the hat. Would it be Hairy Hamster, Minnie Feet Mouse, Grizzle Frizz Guinea Pig? Could it be mean, smart Camilla Capybara? Miss Fuzzleworth reached her paw in and pulled the name out of Wodney Wat.
No, she's mean it.
No, that's the nice one. That's the little tiny mouse. The bell rang and there was a wild scurry for the door, and Camilla Capybara was the first on the playground, having trampled the others in her path. Oh, just like Pinkerton, me first, right?
Yeah.
To Wodney, she looked especially scary. What would she do when she heard him speak? Breathe capybara breath in his face? Or tie him up in his own tail? Or even pounce on him? The tiny, trembling leader of the game stood before the eager players, his head well inside his jacket, and he squeaked, Wodney says, read the sign. What does he want them to do?
Be nice.
Read the sign, right? He wants them to read the sign. While the other rodents read, P.S. 142 Elementary School for Rodents, Camilla began pulling weeds around the sign and wildly flinging them hither and yon until she was clear up to her teeth in dirt. The other rodents began to giggle. Wodney says, whap your paws around your head. He peeked a little peek out of his jacket and saw whap, whap, whappity whap, whap, slappity whap. Camilla was whapping her paws around her head so hard she became dizzy and gave herself a headache and had to sit down. The other rodents couldn't help but giggle more. He meant to wrap your paws, right? But she's not being a very good listener like her other friends. Wodney says, play wing around the wosy. Well, what does that mean? Play, what is wing around the wosy?
Play.
It's a game, right, where you hold hands and you do ring around the rosy? That's right. Camilla put her arms out like wings and made an airplane noise. But where was the wosy? What was a wosy? By now, Wodney's voice was stronger and his head was entirely out of his jacket. Wake the leaves. Nobody moved. Wodney says, wake the leaves. Well, he means rake, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what she's going to do? Well, Harry, Minnie Feet, and Grizzle Frizz and the others busied themselves raking the leaves. Camilla Capybara grabbed one leaf and yelled, wake up! Can you wake up a leaf? She snatched another, come on you, up, up, up! And another, rise and shine! And another, boo! By now, all the other rodents were squealing with laughter, all but Camilla, who frowned. Silly leaves, they won't wake up. And why is everybody laughing at me? Such bullies. Are they being the bullies, or is she the bully?
She's the bully.
Yeah. In a voice so strong he had to hold his own ears, Wodney called, Wodney says go west. The rodents collapsed in a happy heap for a rest. Go west. Camilla Capybara, feeling very smart that she could tell directions by the sun, said, all right, I shall go west. And then she added, so there. She stomped, west she stomped, forever. She was gone. And from that day on, the students of PS 142 Elementary School for Rodents never teased Wodney again. He was their hero. He got rid of Camilla Capybara. Hooway for Wodney Wat, they cried. Woot, woot, wooty toot toot. Did you like that one? That is our last of our Helen Munsinger books. Did you like that one? I'm sorry, our Helen Lester books and Lynn Munsinger books. Did you like that one?
Yes. I like this book.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Go Cardinals!